But man, another team that's really going through it these last few weeks, not just the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers lost 3 playoff games in a row, but Liverpool. Let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool, who is supposed to be leaving it out. Liverpool, who's supposed to be leaving it out all on the field for Jurgen Klopp. It's his last season after 7, 8 years there. He announced that he's gonna step away, like basically like in November, the start of the season. He said this is it, and many thought like Liverpool was gonna have a historic season in response to this, and they won one of the cups. It wasn't the FA Cup because it's still going. I think they won the Carling Cup or the Carabao Cup, whatever they call it nowadays, which is the smallest cup in England for top division. So, very on par to what Klopp has been winning during his Liverpool time. They're now steadily behind Arsenal and Manchester City in the Premier League title after losing to Everton. Everton, who's fighting for relegation. And then in Europa, because they didn't do that good last season, they weren't in Champions League. In Europa, they're the clear favorites going into the quarterfinals, and they get kicked out of the league by Atalanta, put up a stinker that last round. I think they lost 3-0, and then they won 1-0. Put up an absolute stinker. And if you were a Liverpool fan at that moment in time, you're probably looking at it as, glass half full. You're trying to see the silver light in it. And you're like, at least we could focus on the league. We won't have to split our time between the Europa League and the Premier League. At the end of the day, winning the Europa would have been cool, but for a historic team like Liverpool that wins Champions League, it doesn't move the needle too much. Like, let's just focus on the Premier League after crashing out in Europa. Boom, next week, lose to Everton, and your season's over. They've just been stacking up bad results. I think it started with their draw against United, Atalanta, Everton. It's just not good. It's just not good. There's no other way to put it. It hasn't been good. And I think the Liverpool era under Jurgen Klopp, the first thing you're going to remember is digging themselves out of the rut, digging themselves out of that hole that they were in prior to Jurgen. That's the first thing you're going to think of. Like, damn, he really won us our first Premier League title after 30 years. He really won us another Champions League. Like, let's remember it fondly. And then a close second after that, because it was a successful year. There were protagonists for most of his period there. Is going to be like, damn, we couldn't close out. We weren't clutch when it came to the last few months of the season. And we were just perpetual second place teams. And that's just unfortunate. Jurgen Klopp could have left with a lot more titles. Liverpool could have won a bunch more Premier Leagues. Obviously, City's a juggernaut, but I think that's the second thing you're going to think of with Jurgen Klopp. It's like, damn, if those teams just knew how to close out the season a little bit better, if they could just hold their nerve those last few seasons in April and May, if they could just hold their nerve a little better, we could have been looking at this era a lot more fondly. But overall, it's still going to be successful, but once again, a Jurgen Klopp Liverpool team can't get it done to close the season. What do you know?